Hello everybody, sorry I'm a bit late. I was having a rummage around after tea to get some supplies ready for this. So our lovely new DT, oh it's nice to say that, finally, Ali has put up a colour challenge for you, which is some really nice colours. Please don't worry that it has to be exactly the board. Do what you can. Obviously it's tricky at the moment, we can't get out to get things, and online shopping even is not easy. Like, we have sadly closed today ourselves. So if you don't have the exact thing, please don't worry. What the whole point is that we want you to join in and enjoy something. So give it a go with what you've got. The best you've got will be fine. Interpret the board as best you can. Ow, that was sharp. So here is going to be my take on it. So I've got this big wood slice. These were some I ordered by mistake. Rather large, as you can see from my arm. But I thought this would be great to do it. You may have seen that I'm on a new design team myself, actually, for LG Crafts, and the other day my first show went out. Sadly, because of the virus, our samples weren't able to make it to the show. So I have put up photos of my samples, but they weren't shown during the show, unfortunately. But anyway, it was with the Calambor rice papers, so I'm going to use one of those today, because I love florals, and the mood board Ali's put up made me think of flowers. So I'm going to use one of their rice papers to initially cover this wood slice, mainly paying attention to this floral section, and then I think I'll pinch some other bits to cover any bits that are left over, or I may move the stalk up and overlap. So what I'll do, just get a clean paintbrush and some water. This rice paper is code TCR20. I'm not sure if that's Crafty, that's the retail side of LG Crafts, is stocking these or not. So check on there. So that's crafty.co.uk. If not, check Hachanda. They may still have some of these for sale on there from the show. So I'm just using water. Rice paper is very strong, but when you wet it, it will tear fairly easily. So I'm wanting to take this tree section first. So I'll now be able to rip along where I've wet it. Try to keep that crane. I want to keep the bridge. There we go. So let's go with this section first, and then I can trim it. Right, so that's going to cover most. We'll just have this gap. So I'm going to use Fabrique Decru medium acrylic transparent. So this is basically what you might see called matte medium, or soft gel. Sorry, my brain went then. Soft matte gel. So it's basically the lightest, the thinnest of the kind of gel mediums. So it's perfect for decoupage, collage, art journaling, because it's super sticky but nice and thin, so it's not too rough. What is that? Something red. Where the heck is that come from? Second. Let's just get a baby wipe. I think red just appeared. I'm assuming it's something that's fell off my paintbrush. I don't really want it there, whatever it is. Get that off. There we go. Most it off. I've totally forgotten what I was saying now. So yes, it's thin and sticky, but it's not too thick, so it's not going to be too rough on delicate things like your rice papers. Hello Cleo again. Yes, I thought I would do another demo today as I'm off tomorrow, and now that business is shut I haven't got to worry about being busy tomorrow, so it doesn't really matter what time I go to bed today. Okay, and over here we'll lay the stalks like overlap to cover that gap. The cat that likes to stalk me is crying outside my door. Some attention. I call him Mr. Meow. That is what he does. Okay, so we're going to overlap this here. And the matte medium also works as a good sealer because it's matte, so anything we put on top is going to be fine. If I used a gloss and then I wanted to put, say, ink sprays on top, that's not going to be a good combination because it's going to resist that anything water based because we put a gloss finish on. So matte medium at this stage is good for a sealer. At the end of your project, putting a gloss gel would be fantastic if you want a gloss look finish, because then it will help repel anything you don't want to get on there. So I'm going to just give that a rough trim now, and then I will, once it's all dry, I will tidy it up properly. Whoops. So a bit like trimming the pie crust, just keeping the scissors to the edge of the wood. Oops. Did my signal dip out again then? I will apologise in advance. Where everyone's at home at the minute, the internet signal's a bit iffy lately, so if it does dip in and out, I do apologise. I'll try and keep my eye on it to make sure we haven't disappeared altogether. Oops. Okay, let's move that out the way. So we'll tidy the edges up properly once everything is dry, so don't worry how that looks for now. Let's just give that a quick blast so that the papers can be held in place. I'm just going to stick a little bit more on this overlap here. Hi Ali. What's that say? Oops. Did I make that go away then? No, I'm still here. Good. There we go. Right, so let's seal that. So that's now our base layer. So very pretty already, but it's obviously flat, so we need to build up something on top, and we need to introduce the colour scheme from the mood board there. It's very pretty. So you've got kind of coral, a turquoisey teal colour, and a pink. So there's a picture of the kind of looks like raspberry lemonade or peach lemonade, something like that. Nice bicycle. So yeah, very much summery feelings. Just want to seal around that top edge a little bit more. It's not quite onto the edge. Oops. Okay, that's that. So I'll use that one out the way now. Right, so let's get some pattern on first. So I'm going to use a stencil. Got one of my new stencils I wanted to try out, 13 Arts. This one is called Frames. It's a think this one is from the Rosalie collection. So let's see, so I've got some Fabrica texture paste, so texture paste, modeling paste, any that you have will be fine. This is good. I should be able to use this pot up. I'm gonna try and make it my mission while all this is going on to use up some of these bits and bobs of pots. So this is going to give us some more dimension, and I'm going to be using some ink sprays, so it'll pick up an interesting colour because texture paste is sort of semi-porous, so it will probably absorb some of that colour. If you didn't want that to happen with stenciling, you could stencil with a gel medium, which would then, because if you used a gloss gel medium, sorry, it would then resist that ink, so it would stay its colour. And you can colour gels and modelling paste before you apply them. So if you wanted to have the gel medium coloured and then stay that colour, for instance, so say I wanted, it could be a white gel medium, we could mix some white acrylic in there. Then when it's dry, it's going to be glossy, so it would resist anything. So I spray pink on the top, the gel would stay white because it's going to resist everything. Okay, that looks pretty good. So just move this out of the way, give our stencil a little clean. Best way is to get these straight in hot water and let the water do its work. Get that off. Just if you're doing it like this, be careful of any little, this is quite actually intricate, it's got little, if you can see that little bit sticking out, so just need to be careful not to break those if you're doing it with a wipe. So we'll put our texture paste away as well. Out the way. Right, we'll give that a quick blast. So colour wise, let me uncover my stuff. So I've pulled out, of course, my favourite impasto paints, which I'll use to mix the correct sort of colours. So I don't have a peach. I've got some of the new Dina Wakley gloss sprays, which were actually really good for this colour scheme. I found a peach shabby velour paint, that's going to be good. From a class I taught, I had some Opal Magic teal pink left over, so I thought I could use that. And I also have Distress Oxide in picked raspberry and coral, abandoned coral, so we shall play and see what happens. Now we need to remember, of course, that well, first of all, the Distress Oxides, they're distress range, so they are water reactive. Hi Jeanette. So they will continue to be reactive with anything water based we put on, so we need to consider that. And then the Dina Wakley sprays are gloss, so again, they will resist things. So it's good to get an understanding of how things work in mixed media. There's lots of different products and they behave differently, and it's good to have an understanding of how they work so that you can get the look that you're trying to achieve. So a little bit of research, a bit of reading, not to, you know, bore yourself. Watch some tutorials or whatever, get some advice, take a class, will just help you get that look you want, so you don't, not ruin, but you know what I mean, don't spoil your project and not get the look you want. And also so you don't go out and spend a lot of money on something and then find out it doesn't do what you wanted it to do. Right, how's that? That does dry fairly quick, and I like the texture paste, it puffs up quite nicely. Right, so let's start getting some colour on. So I'm going to save the gloss till last because I don't want it to resist everything else. So the impasto paints will cover over anything, so we don't need to worry about them too much. So I think I'll start with my distress inks. Good if you can sort of swirl them side to side. The distress oxides really keep the lid on when you're shaking them. I don't know what it is, if it's the formula, but if you don't, they will go everywhere. Okay, a bit of that, a little bit of picked raspberry. Okay, and I'm going to spray those with water to get them to react. So this will oxidize and we'll get the kind of chalky effect. So the two different types of ink in the oxides, so it's a dye pigment fusion, and they will start to push away each other like opposing magnets, and you'll get a kind of chalky look with a ring of colour pulls around the outside. So just let that run about a bit. Okay, so let's dry that. So the longer you let the water sit, the more the oxidizing effect will happen. And it's important with the texture paste that we don't get it too wet, so we stop and dry every so often, otherwise the texture paste is going to get very loose and you'll start to lose that nice crisp stenciling that we've achieved. So you can see how I said that the texture pastes are kind of semi-porous, so it's not as bold as on the paper, but it has definitely soaked up some of that colour. You see that? So it doesn't need to be bone dry at this stage because we're going to be adding more. Just want to keep my stenciling a little bit drier before I add another layer. Okay, so that'll do. Put them out the way. For now. Right, so let's go in. Let's do some impasto now. My white is really quite knackered. Well, I've not put the lid on properly. I'll just squeeze it out onto my mat there and wet it down a bit. So the white and black impastos are really useful colours to have. The white, obviously, you can then mix any custom shade by lightening the other colours down, and it's good for highlighting. It's a really white, so it's great for highlights, like at the end of your work. And the black is really useful too for creating shadows. And where it's matte, you can apply something on top very easily, say like wax. So I'm just using this to tone down certain sections, not all of it, just bits. And I don't want to do too much because these are very pigmented paints, so it will cover our rice paper pretty well, so we don't want to cover all that pretty image up. Also, that's a bit waste of our paper, really. Okay, that'll do. Oh, I was going to use the white as well to make a colour. So let's try and get a kind of peachy colour. So we'll have a little bit of orange, a dot of yellow, and some white, and we'll see what that kind of does. And we may need to introduce a little bit of pink. I'm determined not to chuck this out until I've got as much out of it as I can. And I will look after my next one better, because the white is probably the best colour. Okay, I put far too much orange in there. So they are really crazy pigmented, so you really do need just a touch. You can see over here what I'm doing. I'm just trying to achieve a kind of peach colour. Okay, that's looking better. Yes, that's better. So, oops, just going to brush this in some sections, and I'll soften it with a bit of water. Don't worry that it looks a bit not brought together at the minute. We will bring all this together. So that's what your white is really useful for. So it was a bit too much. Let me just get a tag or something. I don't want to waste that nice colour. Some tags in here for when this kind of thing happens. So I'll just swipe up that paint onto my tag, and that's the start of another project. So don't waste your paints and inks. Get the most out of them. There we go. Paint ready as a base layer for another project. Right, now that's getting quite wet in this section, so I need to stop and dry that now. I'm done with those paints, I think. Put them out the way. So we'll just get some different colours down, and then we'll start working upwards. Right, so I'm going to soften the rest of that section with the peach shabby velour paint. So these are very much pastel based, so they have a lot of white pigment, but they are slightly textured to get a really good shabby chic look, like a vintage pretty look. So I can use that to tone back these areas that look a bit bold. every time I'm adding a new colour, I'm extending outwards a little bit. Try not to cover too much of the rice paper imagery. Down here is quite plain, so I can go a bit more down there. You could go onto the wood as well. It's up to you. I think I'll keep the natural wood colour on this one. Go a little bit up here. Okay, that's enough of that. And let's introduce, I don't think I'm going to use the pink, there's quite a lot of pink already, but I want to bring in, whoops, this lovely turquoise colour. So they've got a ball in, you can hear that. So again, round and round rather than up and down, so we don't clog these. These are gloss acrylic sprays, so not pink. So when we've used them, it's a really good idea to wipe that nozzle. I'm going to press quite gently. Don't want to completely cover everything that we've done. Whoops. Okay. So you could take this out and use a paintbrush instead. I'm purposely pressing really gently, it's not blocked or anything. Okay, I think that is enough. I don't want to lose any more of that colour. And I think I'll use the metallic around the edge of the paint. So a bit of this just around the edge. Oh, this is a new one. So I'll use the lid. That'll be enough. So this is a Opal Magic paint from Finnabair. So these are the kind of two-tone ones. Very shimmery. So I'll just go around the whole of my project edge with this. Not neatly. Kind of trying to get a kind of shabby-ish effect. And remember, we've got to trim the paper anyway later, so I want to go in a bit so we don't lose all this colour when we trim it. I'm purposely left the paint that was already on there wet so that it can just blend together a little bit in sections. There we go. So we've got quite a nice piece coming together now. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so that's all our base down. Let me just lift this up so you can see. So now we need to dry. So we're going to start sticking things on now. So it's very difficult to get things to glue on a wet surface. It's not ideal at all, so we want to give a good dry at this stage now. And we'll move all of these out of the way and we can bring in the decorations. We've got some of these. Flowers. Got lots of different ephemeras. I've been through my stash, so this is a good time to stash brush people. More flowers, chipboard, some stickers. What was, oh, I was going to do an image. My main image is going to be using these stamps. So this is Finnabair Dare to Dream set, and I've got some clays and metals and bits and bobs as well. So I'm not in a rush to go tonight. I'm going to take my time. Feel free to pop in and out or watch again later, or don't. That's entirely up to you. I'm just going to enjoy myself. My little therapy session. I have said before, I'm a person with anxiety. I have quite bad anxiety, although touch wood, I'm doing alright the last 3 or 4 weeks. So I could totally understand how overwhelming and scary this time must be. So honestly, my inbox is open anytime. You can message me, just want to chat, a moan, need a giggle, whatever, please do message me. Oop, that's a bit wet still there. Always here. If I don't reply straight away, I will get back to you. I work quite early mornings, so I do usually go to bed early-ish. So don't think I'm ignoring you. If you do message me, I will get back to you. But yeah, and use this space. I don't want to say like don't talk about it, because you might need to talk about it. But yeah, if we can try and make it a happy place here, well, always actually, not just now. But yeah, have a laugh in here. If you want to post something funny, post your work, please do so. You know, I ask as always not to spam the group or anything offensive, you know, that sort of thing. Right, so that's nice and dry now. So let's have a think. So I've got the, oops, chuck those everywhere. I've got these berry branches, Hobbylicious. I think we've got some on our website too. Oh, well, I'm just a human, Cleo. I need that myself. You know, I have lovely ladies like you. Oh, I think I squashed this pack. That's me putting everything away badly. Oh, I know what it is. It's where I trim bits off other ones. What's I saying? Yes, so Hobbylicious. I've got some of these. These are the berry branches. I think there's still some on our website. If not, you can always visit Hobbylicious Direct. So I was thinking, I have broken my pack a little bit. That's because I keep everything swished together. But that's okay. It's still very pretty. I can cover the bits that are broken as well. So I'm going to use this, but I want to paint this first. I think I'll use that nice peach paint actually. You don't need to use gesso with these. You can go straight on. It's a very pigmented and thick paints, so you can just go straight on with it. Here we go. Paintbrush. So I'm going to kind of stipple this on. They're textured paint, so if you kind of pounce the paint on, you'll get that texture to show up nicely. And they also dry very quick, which is handy when you just want to get on with something. This is quite a dark wood that I'm using, so it may be that you decide to gesso these first or do a second layer if you just want that really peach colour to shine through. Who is still going to work at the minute, and if you are working, what job do you do? It'd be quite interesting to find out. Or if you're not working, what are you up to? How are you keeping yourself busy at the moment? I'll just give that a quick dry. That's true. Not all humans are nice, sadly. I'm glad to say that at work, most people are being very nice now, but sadly there are still some not so nice, and maybe a bit silly people. I really hope that everyone will kind of learn from this. I mean, we're kind of overwhelmed by things we have and things we can do, or things we think we should be doing. And that's why perhaps we work all the hours a day and all that to make sure we have all these things and can do all these things. And hopefully this time at home with people, or without certain people, we sort of realise what's important. I've had to cancel my trip home. My family is so important to me, so these next few months is going to be really, really hard for me. I live quite a long way from my family. So it's going to be tough as heck. Thank goodness we have video calls these days. So yeah, I will be so happy to see them when all this is over. With the distancing rule, it's a bit funny in shops. So they've enforced it at the tills. In my shop anyway, this is how it works. So they've got it at the tills, but however in the general shop, there doesn't seem to be any rules. So it's left to people to respect the space, which fortunately a lot of people are not doing. So I would ask you, if you come into a shop, think of yourself as well, not just the person working. But it's no good respecting this 2 meters rule at the till, and then when you're shopping you're leaning over a member of staff or another colleague. I've had people say that people have like touched them or coughed on them, and it's just silly. There's no point having this rule if you're not going to do it everywhere. It's not like, oh, I'll do it sometimes. That's not going to work, people. So just think about it. And it's the shops. People are still panicking a bit. So when they get in there, they're still rushing around like crazy and not thinking about what they're doing. And I've seen people coming in with their whole families. Like, I saw a little baby today. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Like, please send one member of your family in. If you can't get out yourself, you know, see if a neighbour or family member can come in for you. But yeah, I don't really see why a whole family needs to come in. It's really not nice. And I'm not making out that we're nurses and doctors or anything like that. We're not those incredible people. But, you know, we are doing something really important right now, because a lot of you can't get to the shop. So if you make one of our colleagues ill, you know, they can't be there doing that then, but potentially you could then make a lot of people ill that work in the same place. So please try to stay 2 meters away, and, you know, keep your hands clean. Don't cough and sneeze on people. That would be great if you could all do that. As it's yeah, it's quite tense being at work at the minute, you know. It's like a ticking time bomb, and then when you see someone being a bit rude, it's quite stressful. Makes you a bit cross. Let me just have a drink. Yeah, I mean, hard to police, definitely, because all the staff are so busy doing everything. You know, we only have one security guard in the store. Can't be everywhere. Right, so what I was thinking was to have, instead of a photo, and get it out, I'm going to have this lady from my stamp set sit on here. So I need something to stamp on. Let's see if I've got some paper here somewhere. I do not carry much plain paper. So when I come to this sort of thing, oh, what am I going to put that on then? She could be a floral lady. I could stamp it out of this. I don't know. We'll try it. It might be too busy. This is one of the little cards, Piatestrinigo, or P13 they just call themselves now. Give us to put in with people's orders. I think we might be out of them now though. Alright, so let's move this away a second. I'm going to ink this up good. It's not very inked actually, so I'll do a test on the back of the card just to get some ink on the stamp. So I can prime my stamp a little bit. It's not too bad actually, so it should be fine. So let's ink again. Go. Oh. Some dogs having a fight outside by the sounds of it. Right, so let's see what this is going to look like. So, have her head up in those flowers. Let's try it. See what. Maybe her face a bit down on the blanket part. So we want to push. These are really good rubber stamps. And I very rarely use a stamp block for stamps, and these are nice, they don't wiggle about too much while you're pressing them. Yay, that works perfectly, that looks fine on there. So let's just give it a quick dry and we'll cut her out. So a lot of people put little cards like this in with their orders when they send out. So keep all those sort of things. They're actually quite handy to use. And also when you get packaging, like in these flower sets, see there's the vellum in the back, or they have like pretty pattern papers. You keep those as well. Okay. Right, let's chop that out. I'll give a little border as I always do. So the mood board, if I remember rightly, had some flowers on as well. So we're going to bring in some flowers into our work. It's actually really good paper to stamp on. It's almost, well, it is a card, so it's nice and thick. So this is going to be great for our centerpiece, because it's going to stay nice and sturdy. I like how those little flowers are peeking through. That looks quite pretty. I like that. Quite chuffed with that. So let's bring this back. Okay, now we've got quite a good base, but she's wobbling a little bit, so we'll pop some chipboard or something on the back there. Let's get my bag of offcuts. Using it today rather than hidden it. Here we go. So I keep all the excess bits. Oh, I flipped it over. I was thinking, what on earth is that? It's the little witch from their logo. That's the back. What have I done? Have I smudged it? Right, so she's gonna sit there. So about where her wings are is where we need some chipboard. Do we need 2 pieces? 2 pieces, yeah. I've been on here a lot longer than I realised. Hoping to catch my nephew before he goes to bed. Apparently, I was going to call earlier, but got a bit emotional watching Happy Feet, bless him. Kids are funny, aren't they? He's really missing being at school. He loves school. He really struggled at school to start with, but he's come on so much and he just loves school now, so he is missing it. But he's having fun with mum and dad doing stuff at home. So yeah, hopefully his enthusiasm continues. So I'm just going to pop some glue. So I'm using Prima 3D gel here just to stick all this down. Actually sits just above the chipboard. That's fine. It's sitting nicely. I'm not too worried. Perfect. Right. Now embellishments. So we want some things around her. Actually keep that gel out. Why I did that. I've got some pebbles which I may paint at the end as well. So these are Prima Melange pebbles, art pebbles. They're like little clear spheres which you can paint. Come in different sizes. I think we'll use a few of these dotted about. I like my rule of 3. I like odd numbers. I just think it looks right, and it helps to frame our piece by working in 3s. I say this all the time, but it really does work. That is something I learnt from Chamel scrapbooking, and it really does work. It's one of the most valuable tips I learnt, so thank you, Chamel. I've got some Prima flowers left over from a class. Let's play with some of those. That. These, somewhere under here. These are flowers from the Spring Birdhouse kit for Kit and Caboodle. They're in that kit. I think we've got quite a lot of florals here. And I've got this kind of lace thing. I don't know if that's going to be too big, I think. This generic flower. So they're all going to sit down there. Let's get some die cut flowers as well. These are Paige Evans Horizon flowers. I thought these would work nicely. So we've got this, that looks good. This one, whoops. Really want to kind of go overboard here. I want it to be happy, happy, happy. Even have one sat above her head, maybe. Go into the bigger pack. No, it's not quite right. Okay, so we'll leave that pack. We'll go to some others. I've got, these are Cocoa Vanilla. I won't be long, Mike. If he's asleep, no problem. I'll call tomorrow. Thank you. So these are Cocoa Vanilla Happiness die cuts. Let's have a look what we've got in here. Okay, so that could work. Yeah, that looks nice. or that one with the leaf actually, bringing a bit green. Although that's the same as that one. No, we'll stick to that one. I'm looking for something tealy. Oh, hold on. We've got this nice big cluster. Yeah, that could work. Okay, I think that's enough. I now want to go overboard, but not too much. So we'll put all these in now. I'm going to choose a title. Oops, putting them in the bin. No, don't put them in the bin. Okay. Ooh, too much ephemera. No, there's no such thing as too much ephemera. Did pull out some Chamel ones. That's Head in the Clouds. No, I don't think I want them. Title could be from here. This is Happiness die cuts. Happy, it could just be happy. Do I have happy in here? Let's have a look. Oh, happy life, happy life. Let's see if I have happy. Happy, yep, happy. I saw life somewhere. Where was it? Lost it. Where have you gone? It was in here somewhere. Did I imagine it? Oh, there it is. Happy life. Yay. Right, okay, let's get this all stuck down and then we will be done pretty much. Some finishing touches. I've got these little bubbles as well from 49 and Market. I'll pop some of them on at the end. So here we go. I think title can sit up there. I think that'll just go straight down actually. I won't raise that up. So we can stick that down. For we don't leave room. When I first started scrapbooking, that was something I always did, and I still do it sometimes. Get so excited decorating and putting everything down, and then I didn't leave any room for my title. So this is, I suppose, why I try and roughly plan everything now before I stick it down. Okay, so little gem. You're gonna go there. This one. Move it up so you can see everything. She's in the 3D gel again. A bit more on that one. That one's quite a big one. That's better. Right, flowers. Oop, it's alive. We're almost done now, folks. Thank you if you stuck with me. It's a long demo today, but I just wanted to chill and enjoy myself. And I've had this log slice quite a while, so I thought it'd be nice to do. Do I want to raise the ephemera or keep it flat? I think we'll raise it slightly. So these three, isn't it? There's not any more. Right, so I'll pop a bit chipboard on all the backs of those. Okay, so stick that on with the gel, bit down, oops, don't do that, bit on there, bring my piece back. So which one was going where? This one was over here, wasn't it? So more gel, and we're going to slot that in. Popping out from the flowers. The gel under there, it will dry clear, so I'm not worried about that. Slot in there. And this one was coming out like that. Okay, finishing touches. So that tealy paint, I want to grab that again. I'm going to paint my, yeah, I'm going to paint my little domes with that. So first I'll just do some white gesso on them. Get a paintbrush, that'll do. So just to make them matte so that the paint will stick easier. Just being careful because that glue isn't dry yet. So just give us a neater coverage, and the colour will be better as well. Okay, so that on first, little blast dry. I just realised that the stamp is quite ironic actually at the moment. It says, "Don't forget to fly." But yeah, we can't fly right now. Sorry. It's obviously not meant in that way, but I just thought it's quite funny actually. Right, now the tealy paint. Easier if you do this off page, but I only decided partway through that I wanted to do this, so we'll just carefully do it. Excuse my head. Whoops, I'm headbutting the camera. Sorry. Okay, so that's that. And some of those little pink, they call them wishing bubbles. They're really cool actually. So they're self-adhesive. They're like on foam pads. So we can just dot those about. I have 3 of those as well. And then there's also like enamel dot type ones. So you get flat ones that are pretty much the same as enamel dots, so we'll have 3 of those. They're not the normal kind of just round shapes, they have different shapes, so they're kind of like little drops. One there, and one over here somewhere. Okay, and that's it, we are done. So here is my interpretation of the board. I've gone more on the pink green spectrum. I did start with peach, but a lot of that's been lost. Wanted to create something really happy. Yeah, they're nice, Cleo. Wanted something big, bold, in your face, just happy, so lift your spirits. So I think happy colours really, looking at this makes me feel happy. So you can help lift your own spirits. So do that, and maybe you then gift this to someone and you make them happy too. So thank you for watching. Do join in Ali's challenge. So the board is posted on the page, it's tagged to the top here, and there's a photo album for you to stick your entries in. And obviously I can't post it right now, but I will be giving a little prize for anyone that enters. I also took over a page last weekend, Smash Booking. Sorry, lost me there. I was just saying I did some challenges on Louise's Smash Booking group I posted about. So those challenges run till the end of this week as well. So do check all of those out. Give an entry, and when we're all open again, I will get a little prize out to someone chosen at random. So thanks for watching. See you again soon, maybe even tomorrow as I'm off. Bye guys.